Thank you for joining me here. I am Mari Swaruu. Today I want to share with you something a bit retro. A few days ago Leela, Taygetan Communications officer of this ship, gave me this text written by Swaruu sometime back in 2016 or 2017. The exact date is not known. We believe that it has not been published before, and I think that it is a very interesting subject that can be taken as a base to help understand my own future subjects. And it was written originally in Spanish. I hope you enjoy it.
Change your past. Humans are taught that imagination is only fantasy, that this does not exist, that you are cheating on yourself, and that you live in the clouds and lose time that you could use on something more productive, or preferably lucrative. They have no idea what imagination really is. Spiritual teachers and terrestrial gurus insist on living in the now, because the past and the future do not exist, but again they do not know how things really work. The now that is perceived, the now of which those gurus speak, is always the result of the past, since the perception of that past builds what you call your present. It is in that past that you learn to perceive things in one way or another. And where you give meaning to those things, values, and importance and everything within a framework learned in conjunction with other beings like you, and within what is socially accepted. But remember that the socially accepted is nothing more than control imposed by the owners of the earth, the cabal, the matrix. When you are in an imaginative state, when you are imagining things, you are in a state of pure creativity. Nothing that exists would exist without imagination. Everything that exists first had to be imagined. Therefore, being in an imaginative state, also called mental state alpha, is to be more in the now than what those gurus have been saying for decades, teaching something that cannot be, being in a now that has already happened. Erroneous human concept, the past has already happened and nothing can be done about it, it cannot be changed. This starts from the concept of temporal linearity. Past walking towards the present and then to the future inexorably. But that's not how time really works. There is no such thing as time or as a force, an entity, or a material particle. Time is an experience that only starts from the consciousness of the one who observes and, like everything, that is also based on preconceived ideas learned and imposed by the socially accepted matrix. It is the observer's awareness who encourages, accelerates, and decelerates his perception of time. And time is nothing more than a personal and unique perception. Nor are temporary lines as such, because the concept of a line starts from where the observer was and his line of experience to where he is now. And only from the point of view of a particular observer. It's like being in a flat desert with nothing there. You can walk from one place to another and, only when you turn back, it is when you can perceive where you have been and the line you have created when you see your footsteps in the sand. Everything that is, always has been, and always will be. There is no time, everything is fixed and it is as it is. As a film roll, everything is at the same time, countless fixed photographs of everything, the start of the film and those of the center and final. All photographs exist at the same time and it is only the observer with its mental projector, which is his conscience, who animates that series of photographs. Now imagine a super roll of nonlinear film, in which you can change to other alternative plots and endings when you want. As an interactive film with countless different endings or plots that come out of each particular point within the same film. Now the observer can animate that interactive film at will. If it is bored, it slows down. If it's not, it will accelerate. If you decide to feel fear for what you see in the movie, then the movie gives you more of whatever has your attention and will move in that direction. If you ask for a beautiful scene, the movie will go in that direction, reflecting what the animator desires, because he is the film animator without which nothing could exist. That is reality. If you have your attention to horror parts, the film will give you more of the same. If you set your attention to positive scenes, then that is what it will continue to give you, because the film you perceive as reality is nothing more than the reflection, or the mirror of your interior, mirror of your own conscience. Therefore, the way you perceive the world around you is just a reflection of yourself. As I said above, imagination is how everything is created and how consciousness decides where everything will go. But as everything there is already, and already exists, and you only animate everything you imagine with your conscience, it is already a reality somewhere else. And what is reality other than the result of a pre-provided perception in the observer's mind and subjected to a socially accepted context? Now, imagine your alternative past. How you would like things to have been at one or another time in your life. Can you imagine another reality? The imagination is a remote vision of a parallel existence, of parallel realities with a touch of interpretation from you, and with things that are familiar. You are looking at a parallel version of yourself. Knowing that imagination is not only fantasy, but it is also the means of tuning in with the frequency of our parallel version. In that parallel version of yourself, what did you do yesterday? What did you do today? What was your experience? What did you see? Who did you speak with? Who did you meet? Answer these questions as vividly as possible, as playfully as you can. But above all, as real as you can. What would your experience be if you were 100% that version of yourself that you are visualizing? To manifest things you must dream and dream them until they come to be. What would that version of yourself be like? What if you knew how you want to be, but you would be the one blocking yourself from being that version of yourself? Why would that be? Because of any of the following excuses in your head. It would not be practical, it would not be logical, they would not love me, they would not accept me for that, it would not be possible, that is fantasy, it cannot be real, that is not possible, and so on. But if for a moment you could leave behind these excuses that come from your logical and programmed mind designed to fit into a socially accepted matrix, and you could accept the version of yourself that you want to be so much, the way you experience being yourself in that version would be very clear and natural to you. And if you focus on that enough, being congruent with yourself, then you will express that version of yourself in your reality. One of the most powerful and fastest ways to achieve this is changing your past, because once you have changed your past, you don't have to do anything, because you are already that version of yourself. What did you do yesterday in that version of yourself? Imagine it vividly, constantly, congruently, and you will see that all those imagined experiences you could call false memories become real memories. They begin to have a life of their own, they become very vivid and clear memories, even more than the real ones that are socially accepted. Imagine your past until you see that it feels the same as the things that are part of your socially accepted memory. It will feel as if you had really experienced those things because you have really experienced them in your other version of yourself, and you are bringing that version towards you, making that experience part of your own. You become that version of yourself because that is your past, in the same way as your socially accepted past is. Imagine it until it is real, live that past as if that were until it is for you. You will realize that you have really lived what you would like to have experienced at a parallel reality level, but you will accept it as your past, as it is as real for you as your official past is. Imagine something you would like to experience in the future, now imagine it in your past, and locate that experience in it as if it had already happened. Memorize how you have already experienced that, and how it feels like. What do you want in the future? What would be incredible for you? What would your ideal future be like? The most authentic and the most expanded representation of you that you have always wanted to be. Do you already have that in your mind? Now put all that 5 years in your past, feel how you have lived it, and how you have already evolved beyond it all. Remember that experience, the one your past version of yourself would have wanted. Remember it as if it had already happened. It is part of your past now. Remember that you are not cheating yourself, you are tuning in and bringing that other version of yourself into your life. This is as real as any other memory that you carry with you at any time, and which, if you think it is a real memory, is equally real. Try with a memory, 1, to start with. When doing this, feel how it frees you, and how you feel with yourself. Feel how you are in tune with who you perceive yourself to be. People may ask you something about your past. Ask them, which version of my past? Perceive that you can be multiple yous getting to where you are now, coming from different pasts, from all the pasts you can imagine. All integrating into the you that you are today, that you are now. This is the truth about how you function as a person or as an entity made up of all the versions, call them different timelines, that together and affecting and inspiring each other, make up what is you, the true more expanded you already living and being a higher dimensional being. And this more expanded or ultra-expanded version of yourself got there precisely by integrating and being aware of all your other timelines, just as I write to you above. Now, what to do with the lines you don't like, what to do with the memories you already accept as socially accepted matrix reality. After all, you will arrive at your mother's house or meet an acquaintance and she will remind you that your reality is the socially accepted matrix reality and not the one you just created for yourself, right? You will be returned to the matrix reality. What to do with this? The purpose here is to be more expansive, seeing multiple lines, not to fight or deny lines that have already happened, including the socially accepted matrix. Do not fight those socially accepted matrix memories, incorporate them as a part of you, a valid part, and as valid as any other memory you have made or created using the technique above. Don't discredit them, just incorporate them into who you are. Accept what these people see, and show them who you really are with the amazing changes you can make by becoming multidimensional by accessing your other lines using imagination visualization of alternate realities of your own, which I remind you, are equally valid. Give yourself permission to experience multidimensional being like this, because all the doubts you have about whether or not this technique works are based on the feeling of not being worthy of, you fill in the blank. Even that doubt you may feel that I'm just writing nonsense, that addiction that the world you perceive as physical is so real and everything else is not, is a way or form of self-flagellation, of self-attacking yourself and invalidating who you are, keeping yourself limited and small, often just to be socially accepted. Because if we go a little crazy, if we step out of the norms, what will happen? We would have to face our fears. But there is no merit in being well adjusted in such an incredibly sick society. Who are the crazies now? Can you have the capacity and the mental strength, the strength and integrity of spirit to accept for yourself that you have changed the past? Now this works very well because the Matrix has not implemented any defense mechanism against this practice. It has simply tried to erase it from all existence, so there are no mental crutches imposed by the Matrix to prevent your mind from perceiving your new past as valid as the socially accepted version. All you have to do is transcend the concept of temporal linearity. You can visualize your future and walk in that direction, and you can also visualize your past and decide that you come from that space where that has already happened. This technique is so powerful that you don't even have to believe in it completely to feel and experience the amazing changes you can make in yourself using it. You may think it is fantasy, but I tell you straight out it is not, and yet you can see results in a very short time. The results will be so palpable and real that you will gradually see that it is true that whatever past you decide is your past is equally real, and that there is no linear static time. Spiritual problems, emotional problems, and physical problems alike. For example, it has been proven that some people with multiple personalities, when they are portraying one person, have a cancerous tumor. As soon as they change their personality to another, the tumor disappears, and when they return to the first personality, the tumor reappears. This is proven and not fantasy, documented cases of schizophrenia. All are optional versions of the existence of the whole you. Change your past and feel the difference now. The more you do this, the more you will be surprised by the results. And you can also go into mode to go back to believing in your socially accepted matrix past, as it is also a valid past, and whatever little problem you have will reappear, like the little schizophrenic tumor above. Whatever is out of alignment with the you wish to be, limiting thoughts, not necessarily tumors. You just experience things as if you have already experienced them. Imagine that which you wish to be and put it in your past, a year ago, 5 minutes ago or 10 years ago, or in your childhood. You jump from one version of you to another version of you. These are permanent changes you can make with this technique, and it is very empowering. Swaruu.